Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to dip back in on the Last of Us Part 2 controversy.
Must we?
Yeah, you know, disclaimer, again, I have no desire to buy this game. Squid King has no desire to buy this game.
I won't let Squid King play the game.
I've seen enough. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to enjoy this game. It looks very depressing and dark, and it's not something I'm really in the mood to play right now. There is a lot of controversy around it, obviously. Some of the storytelling decisions, you know, haven't gone over very well. That's to put it mildly. So anyway, we're going to talk about how the media is lining up to defend this game, how the ending was changed, why the ending might have been changed.
They're lining up to take it like in the game.
They're lining up to take it like in the game. Yeah, so the only thing I can compare this to, and the reason we're covering it is because this is kind of a big deal right now with pop culture. It's the biggest game release for a while, you know, for the foreseeable future. There's been a lot of controversy around it, and the media is treating it very much like they did The Last Jedi, where you're not allowed to not like this game.
Right.
And even if you don't like the game, you have to, at least a lot of the media outlets have to make sure their review is still somewhat positive.
Right. Well, I'm not talking about media outlets. If you don't like the game and you're just a general person, clearly there's something wrong with you. Like you'd expect the media outlets and everybody, you know, they're labeling everybody who doesn't like it as this istrophobe or whatever.
Right. So Forbes is making bank off of Last of Us. I almost said Last Jedi. They were making bank off of Last Jedi articles too.
Paul Tassi again.
Paul Tassi again, who for the most part, I actually agree with a lot of his opinions on gaming. Have not agreed with his take on The Last of Us Part 2, and I definitely think that the whole purpose of this article is just more clicks. Now,
I do too. I think that's what it is.
I mean, they're cranking out like multiple Last of Us Part 2 articles per day. We saw this with The Last Jedi too, with Scott Mendelson, also on Forbes, constantly. Sometimes he would even contradict himself.
Yeah, that was always fun.
It was just like, I wonder if these guys at Forbes, that they have like a quota, like we got to get so many views per day to keep our jobs.
I don't know, because he's a senior contributor.
Yeah, so I know he's like the head game guy, I guess, as far as I can tell, but he's defending Abby, and he has this lengthy article talking about how basically Abby is better than Ellie.
Ooh.
Abby is better than Ellie, and you're not allowed to comment. There are no comments.
Yeah,
they're disabled.
Yeah. Surprise.
But you go through and he explains why he feels this way, and you get all the way to the end. And then, yeah, Abby does some terrible things. But Ellie does much, much worse, shows far less mercy, and causes much more collateral damage. I don't think either are heroes, but I do not believe Abby deserves nearly the amount of hate that she's getting as people play the game. No, she may not have the charisma of Ellie or Joel, and may not be one of gaming's all-time great characters.
So she sucks like shit, but she shouldn't deserve the shit she gets.
Yeah, but she's the only thing saving the story from being a very dull, stock revenge tale viewed entirely from Ellie's side.
No. Well, see, that could all been avoided because this is the way they wrote it. You know, I mean,
it didn't have to be a revenge.
What if Debbie didn't exist?
Of Debbie.
What if Abby was Debbie or some other character, and it wasn't even, that was a completely different story? I mean, that kind of blows that argument right out of the water right then and there.
Defending Abby is the new defending Holdo, defending Rose Tico.
Right.
Because these were unnecessary characters that were added to a sequel to a fairly popular movie that brought nothing to the franchise and actually divided the fandom.
How soon do we hear, oh my God, they chased Abby off of social media?
They chased Abby off of social media. Well, Laura Bailey, I guess, does her voice, and she does a lot of anime character voices. I always thought she was pretty okay. But I know she was getting some heat.
But she was also making some comments, too. So, you know, I mean, that's what happens. I don't care what side you take. When you make comments, you get heat. It always happens.
So here's a theory. Here's a theory about Abby. I'm just putting this out there.
Okay, I really have no vested interest in this, but you go ahead.
I've been watching this train wreck in slow motion for months, and they had an interview a couple of days ago with Neil Druckmann on IndieWire, and he talked about the production of the game. It was very interesting, and I got to give a hat tip to, I believe it's RK Outpost, who did a whole video just talking about this interview. But we get way down to the bottom. And Neil Druckmann says, I should say that for more than 50% of the production, Ellie used to kill Abby at the end. Ellie lets Abby live, gets her fingers bit off, you know. Spoiler!
Well, you shouldn't say, you should spoil before you
If you're watching this video, you don't give a shit anyway.
All right.
So anyway, which gave a whole different kind of a feel to the ending, and then another character would have to stop the cycle of violence. So at some point, we came to the realization that it wasn't as honest to Ellie's character that way, but I thought Abby was better. Deep down inside, there's goodness there. Hopefully she can go forward and build her life.
But without the guitar.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be playing as much guitar.
I mean, if that was the case, then what was the reason to do that at the end? What was the reason? There was, other than to just be as, it's like, it sounds to me like
Revenge
this person
cost.
really hates Ellie, that Druckmann does not like the character of Ellie. Is what it sounds like to me. Like, it probably was the other guy's character and he doesn't like it or something. Because, so they decided to let, to not kill Abby.
Yeah.
But they had to maim Ellie in some way besides watching them kill Joel because, why?
Well, what's so uncomfortable about it, and I have watched, some Let's Plays and stuff like that, what's so uncomfortable about it is you have to play as Abby after she does what she does to Joel. And you freaking hate Debbie the whole time, but you're like, you gotta play.
Explain the Debbie joke.
That's PewDiePie called her Debbie.
So we always call her Debbie now.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I think he just thought that was her name. I don't know. But he was also like not very invested in this thing. You could tell watching his face, he was just like, I freaking hate this. And then we had that South Korean streamer who, after they killed Joel, he cut up his copy of the
He's like, I don't
disc.
care.
He's like,
but anyway, go back to what you were saying about playing as her.
I have a theory, because there was a lot of conversation about whether or not Abby was trans before the game came out. And everybody was convinced that Abby was trans.
And notice how the company Naughty Dog did not correct that assumption. Like, I
don't think they did.
Did they? I mean, not to my knowledge, did they correct it? I mean, that could be the case. If they did. But if they didn't, that somehow is worse that you waited until after it came out when people were mad and then you hurried up and said that it wasn't the case. Because that would be really crappy.
So apparently now, I as far as I can tell, she's not. She's not trans.
That's not worse that they did that.
Well, that's what I think is okay. So this is just a theory I have, and it's probably wrong. But I'm thinking Abby was originally supposed to be trans, but when they realized how despised this character was going to be, they backpedaled.
I don't know, because it's weird. Like, where did this idea come from? That she was,
because she's buff.
But is that the whole reason that people assumed she was trans, or was there another reason this came out, like with leaks or something?
Yeah, people just assumed she was trans because they were talking about how they were going to be as diverse as possible in this game.
So that wasn't really. But the thing is, so even if she wasn't planned to be that way, or she wasn't that way, why didn't they correct it?
I don't know. I don't know.
They say, oh no, she's not. Just so you know, before people started hating the character.
Well, I don't know. I think they were trying because I think she was.
Or they were trying to trick people into being like, oh, look, I'm an ally, I'm buying this game because she's trans. No,
I don't know.
She wasn't, and I'm not correcting it. Disney does this a lot. They know something.
Elsa.
They know. Well, I was going to say something else. Like, they know, something's going to affect the stocks. They won't announce it until after stocks close. When stocks close, then the announcement will come out on a Friday at 4 something at night after the stock market's closed. Then they'll announce it. But they'll let other people, like when they had the idea that they were going to do the presentation earlier than it was. They knew they weren't. But they didn't correct the miscommunication until after the stock market closed that night because their stocks went up. And they didn't want to do anything to jeopardize that increase. And I think it's kind of like that. Even if they knew that she wasn't, they didn't want to tell people that because they were afraid that it would somehow lessen the sales of people who wanted to buy it because she was.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me at all because, and again, we saw this with, I mentioned Elsa, but we saw it with other characters too, where they assume characters to be gay or they assume characters to be whatever, and they just let the fandom run with that because as long as they're buying the product,
yeah,
you can ship them however you want to in your head. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think she was either designed as trans and they realized she was going to be a very unlikable, disliked, hated, despised character.
But they knew that people were going to hate her so much. Why did they double down on that narrative? Not about the trans, about just her, what she does and how she does it. That's what I don't understand.
Because they know better than we do.
They're seems like
the
one
game
giant
studio.
troll. But I mean, that's just what it seems like. But it just, to me, if this word was out there and they knew it wasn't true, then they should have corrected it. But then they probably were afraid that if we say she's not, then they're going to come after us with how dare you not be diverse and all that other stuff.
Well, that's just it, and I think that's kind of what was going on. They were trying to maximize their sales, but apparently the official, as far as I can tell, the official story is she's not trans. She's just very, very buff.
Which happens, but I'm just like, so it's She-Ra 2.0. But I'm just like, I don't know. I just think that somehow it's actually worse. They let people believe this for so long and didn't correct it until after the game came out, and there's backlash. I'm like, you'd think, it would be more beneficial to people that could be targeted or could be harassed about it to say it up front so that, they weren't making those assumptions.
Yeah.
So something doesn't add up here.
So
something in the timeline here doesn't add up.
So this website, I'm not picking on a journalist in particular here, but this HITC, right? They have article after article after article about how buff Abby is, how she's not trans, and that scene, which seemed kind of, I'll be honest, seemed kind of rapey.
I didn't see the scene. I don't want to see it.
It looked like she was caught off guard with her pants down.
Why would her pants be down if she was caught off guard? Like, I always sit there bent over with my pants off, being like, I wonder if something's gonna fall into my vagina.
That is not the face of someone who seems to be on board.
Really?
With the ideas. So, wait, are people actually coming out and saying it?
I didn't see the scene, so I don't know. But I'm just like, I don't get that from that facial expression. I'm just like, maybe it was bigger than they thought it was going to be. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. Everything, it was drier than we expected. No, I don't know. But I honestly think that there was a lot of backpedaling. I do think that, they knew Abby was going to be controversial. It would not surprise me if they changed it midstream.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm honestly the place where, do I even care? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you care more about than I do. This isn't like my thing.
I do.
I'm let you battle this one more than me because I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I do because we're talking about the sales too, and that's again. So everybody's gonna be like, hey, this game, people made a bunch of noise about it, and it's still sold anyway. Hater. We're seeing this is again taken from the Last Jedi playbook. Look how well it did.
When I talk about what gets to me is the way that they're already twisting the narrative, and they kind of just trolled fans with the whole game. That's the two things that I'm upset about, and I'm not even. But I can't beyond that make comments because I honestly don't really know much about it.
Yeah, I mean the first game was good. I watched Squid King play it. It was really, really good. People were expecting an amazing game, and it was. On some levels, it was, from what I saw of it, it looks pretty good. I mean, graphically, it looks really good. The acting's good, but it just took the characters in directions that people did not want them to go in.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think it was. And then they're saying that you find out the original ending was supposed to be different. And then they chose to let Abby live, but then they made sure they maimed Ellie.
Right. So she couldn't even,
But, it just seems like, I don't know.
Well, okay, so again, Forbes. I swear to God, Forbes.
It's like people are shit the game. That's what it sounds like to me.
Pretty much. But Forbes is like cranking out like freaking 15, 20 Last of Us 2 articles per day. Again, just like The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. Just like how they were constantly, Scott Mendelson, every fucking day for 2 years, there was at least one Last Jedi article on Forbes. Because that's where the hits came from. And then it becomes this vicious cycle because then YouTubers pick up on these articles and drive more traffic.
I was going to say, you keep making them too, so.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything, but I'm like, that's what gets me. Like the game side, like normally I'd be like, yeah, I'm not playing it. I don't give a shit. But watching the media go into overdrive.
That's what makes me mad.
Defend this game. And again, same thing. The various controversies did nothing to dampen the sales because it's the fastest selling box game in the UK. In the UK, it actually passed Animal Crossing. I mean, yeah, because a lot of people, look, they're going to go in cold. They're going to buy the game just because they're like, I like the last one.
Or a lot of people like the last one. And they're just going to be like, I didn't want to listen to any spoilers that could have, the leaks because they could spoil the game. So I wasn't listening to anything. I deliberately avoided all the spoilers and rumors.
And that's what happened, exactly what happened with The Last Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people went in, they were like, kick ass, Luke Skywalker's back. We like The Force Awakens.
Even The Force Awakens, you could argue that. Everybody came based on the fact that they wanted Star Wars again.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Chewie.
So it's the same idea where they don't, that doesn't mean anything. Where where you're going to learn where people really thought about it is months from now, when you finally get, you know, more consensus, more, you know, something in front of you with more data. Because like that's what happened with The Last Jedi. It's the biggest movie ever until couple of weeks later when it went off the cliff. But you know,
and there's not really a lot of competition out there right now. A lot of game releases are being pushed back, and
a lot of people are waiting for the new systems.
Yeah, I mean, the same kind of thing happened with Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the first couple of weeks it sold like crazy because people had been waiting years for this remake, and then once people realized it wasn't a straight remake, it was only part of the game, and they took a lot of liberties with it. People were like, oh, okay, I'll just wait till it's on sale. People were trying to return the game, they're not letting them. You know,
they're saying because it's COVID.
I think COVID in some cases, but I guess it was Australia. They wouldn't. People have to let us know in the comments. They said they wouldn't let them return the game. So a lot of people probably pre-ordered it, just being like, "Yeah, Last of Us 2. Hell yeah, I want another Last of Us. I'm going to pre-order it." You know, and they might pre-ordered it like months and months ago. You know, so the real proof of how successful this game is going to be, 6, 8. 10,
That's what I'm
12
saying.
months
from now, when you can look at it, you know, objectively at a distance and see, you know, have numbers in front of you.
And by then, I think Forbes will probably have about 1,200 articles.
Or they'll be moving on to something else they're defending, like
PS5.
I don't know. Yeah, or no, they're gonna defend something else that's stupid that'll come out. You know, that'll be like some agenda or something, and then they'll defend that.
They should just have a game called Agenda.
That'd be funny.
And it could be like The Sims. It could be like, can you manipulate your Sims into thinking certain things? Can you use social media to make sure that they all think alike and that they all have the same little icon pop up above their heads?
Right, and if they don't, you have to make sure that you publicly shame them.
Publicly shame them in the submission.
It was funny. I was watching the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force today. They were talking about they had to have another meeting because of all the cases popping up in Florida. But they're doing a marketing campaign. They're doing a marketing campaign to tell people, you know, what to do and, you know, what's proper, you know, what you should and shouldn't do and what the guidelines are. And they kept going on and on about peer pressure. Peer pressure is going to keep them in line. Peer pressure is going to turn them. And that's what this reminds me of. It's like, we're going to go to social media, and then if you don't do what we want, we're going to bully you into submissions. We're going to peer pressure you into liking what we like. That's why they try to own Twitter. That's why these places try to own social media and control that. That's why they start getting so pissed when they're told they don't have control over something, because they want to use that to bully people into agreeing with what they want. If you want to be part of the group, if you want to use this platform, peer pressure will bully you into agreeing with our opinion, and that's what it reminded me of. I'm a pepper. Don't you want to be a pepper too? Mm-hmm. You better be a pepper. If you're not a pepper, then we're going to shun you and call you names. You're just pepperist, and you're pepperophobic. And pepper? Oh my God, you're pepperophobic. How dare you? How dare you? How very dare you? Talk about peppers in that way. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up. Yep. I'm sure there will be more Last of Us Part 2. Again, I could give a shit about the game. I'm just really interested in the way people behave, the drama around it, and how the media is eating this up. They're well, yeah, and the only reason I care about it is, I mean, as far as the game's concerned, is because it was upsetting to so many people. So, yeah. And I'm sorry, when you hear about what happened, you hear about from Squid King or other people commenting. To me, I don't care what they say. It was a giant troll. Yeah. Is what it sounds like to me. It's like, how can we subvert expectations? Oh, I agree. I think that's exactly. And then to put that tweet out there on Father's Day, come on. Yeah, nothing proved that it was a troll of the fans. That did. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.